Swimming with the sharks, skiing in the Alps, and safari in South Africa. All trips of a lifetime, right? But beware of the bucket list. Retirees who chase adventure may actually find themselves missing out. Joining us to explain why is geriatric psychiatrist Marc Agronin, author of a new book, How We Age. So Marc, seniors are healthier and wealthier than previous generations, but you say that chasing a bucket list can actually backfire. Why?
Some people mistake the fact that they have more, they have better health, they have more income to be able to really do everything and anything they want later in life. And sometimes they find that there's a key ingredient missing, which is the mission behind it, what their purpose is. And so when they string together a lot of what may seem to be incredibly exciting activities, they find over time, at least some individuals do, that it's not what they intended.
It's not exactly fulfilling, I guess. I could see that. So part of the allure of a bucket list is it brings novelty, it brings adventure. It's kind of a rush to go on these amazing trips. How would you suggest people find those things in their life without, going to South Africa or swimming with the sharks?
Well, there's nothing inherently wrong with having a bucket list. In fact, these can be some of the most memorable experiences that someone can do. But what I suggest, and this is based on talking with so many different seniors and working with them on these experiences, is to try to infuse some purpose or greater mission into what you're doing. And so I've talked to individuals who have gone on trips, but they bring along family or grandchildren to really include them as part of this and teach them. Or they might go abroad someplace, but this is part of a volunteer activity that they're doing. This gives so much more meaning to what they're doing. It gives them this deep, gut-satisfying feeling of it. And it's something that they can really bring into the future. It gives them a good sense of giving back to others. It gives them a sense of legacy. It makes all the difference in terms of what a bucket list is really about.
And another thing I think is fascinating is you point out the bucket list is a little bit counterintuitive because naturally we get happier as we grow older. Tell us more about that psychology of aging.
That's true. As we get older, we imagine that everything that will face us will be decline, decrepitude, and that we need to engage in these activities to really push that away. And yet if you look at all the data that examines well-being in late life, we actually find the opposite, that rates of happiness and well-being increase to a peak later in life. And this probably has to do with changes both in our brains, changes in our lifestyles, the way we look at the world later in life. We tend to be more balanced, less ideologic. We often use the term wisdom to describe this. But it's very true and counterintuitive to what we imagine, that late life actually brings great strength and great well-being for the vast majority of individuals.
Yeah, it is counterintuitive because everybody spends time trying not to get older, and getting older actually sounds pretty great when you think about it that way. Are there any other tips that you would like to give retirees, or anything else you suggest they do when they're looking for adventure?
I think it's wonderful to be able to sit down and plan something really exciting. But I recommend that when they're part of this process is to sit and ask them several questions. What are we really trying to do here? What is our mission? What will be some of the long-term consequences of this? It really forces them to be more mindful about their overall mission, their purpose, what legacy that they want to leave behind. And these questions often help them shape these so-called bucket list adventures into really what can be the best experiences and maybe will represent a new trend for them.
All right, Marc, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.